Apple just canceled the iPhone 15, at least the best model we were supposed to get. This was supposed to be the one with the huge redesign, major camera upgrades, no notch, and maybe the return of Touch ID under the screen. But instead of getting this, we're probably gonna get this. But according to good old Apple, they're still gonna call it
the best iPhones we've ever created.
What exactly happened to the iPhone 15 line this year, and why did Apple cancel their best phone? Let's have a frank and honest discussion about the state of the iPhone right now, and why the true Android killer, this amazing iPhone that we all want, is probably never gonna see the light of day. For the past few years, every single iPhone reveal has sort of been the same old thing. This isn't to say Apple's events are bad or the iPhone is bad, but I think so many of us see this amazing potential the iPhone could have, especially the Pro models, and are just frustrated that Apple just seems to be doing nothing about it. On the outside, the changes between the 11, 12, 13, and 14 have been pretty minor. Gone are the days of these big redesigns and extravagant new features, because it seems like Apple is just making small tweaks these days, hoping or assuming maybe that no one is gonna notice or care. And what makes matters worse and more frustrating is that this was supposed to be the year that everything was gonna change for the iPhone. We were gonna get that huge redesign. Maybe it looked like that iPhone 4 style 2010 throwback. We were supposed to get significant camera upgrades. Maybe the notch would be going away and the dynamic island would go away, and we get no cutout and the return of Touch ID maybe, and just bigger features. For years and years, the rumor mill was buzzing and building towards something big that should have come this year. But instead, the 15, and specifically the 15 Pro, are not looking to be bad phones, but pretty underwhelming if you were hoping for something more substantial. The big story with the 15 lineup basically seems to be sort of more of the same. We will get USB-C instead of Lightning on all models, Dynamic Island on all models as well, some camera improvements, under the hood tweaks, some new colors, maybe a slightly tweaked design, maybe a programmable mute button too on the Pros, but that looks to be it. Some nice upgrades, but nothing substantial, especially if you're hoping for something a bit more exciting. And it seems like Apple is really holding their cards close to their chest and not making any major moves, with a lot of us scratching our heads and asking why. Many different rumors pointed to much bigger plans for the iPhone 15 Pro this year. We were going to get some major improvements, maybe that big redesign. Apple had some much more lofty ambitions for this phone that would have made it a lot more exciting, but for whatever reason, seems like they canceled it, put it on the back burner, whatever term you want to use. They are not going to move forward with it this year, which is super disappointing, and also makes you think about what Apple's doing, especially with their Pro phones, because if we look at Apple's own history, it didn't always used to be this way. Back in sort of the early days of the iPhone, Apple was going all out every other year to give us some amazing new updates. I mean, look at the 3GS to the 4, or the 4S to the 5, or 5S to the 6. Apple would do a major redesign, use that design again with some tweaks under the hood, and then give us something new all over again. And it's a little different these days. I'm not saying that Apple has to do that every single year, but even every 3 years to see a major redesign would be great to see. I love what Apple used to do, and for whatever reason, they don't really feel the need to do that anymore. But I think my best example of what the iPhone could be, and the year that Apple really changed everything and showed the iPhone line's true potential, is what they did back in 2017. This was a year where Apple really hit it out of the park by all metrics, and definitely a formula they should replicate now. Remember, this was where we got the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, which had a very familiar design, had Touch ID, but it had some better cameras, it had wireless charging, some other sort of improvements that made it a really good phone for 90% of people, and a solid year for an iPhone upgrade. But then we also got the iPhone X, which was, without a doubt, the much more high-end exclusive flagship iPhone that took all of Apple's best tech and put it into this amazing, trailblazing phone. We got the all-new design. We got Face ID. Gone was the home button. We got an OLED display. We got so many new features on this phone that really made it a pro phone built for the enthusiasts and those willing to spend a little bit more money. Yes, it was expensive, even though these days $1,000 is very normal for a high-end phone, but it was this great formula of a really nice, solid, sort of consumer-focused phone with the 8 and 8 Plus, but for the pros who wanted more and were willing to pay, the iPhone X was this amazing sort of gold unicorn flagship that was different and unique in so many amazing ways. And as an Apple fan, I've got to admit that that was one of the last years that I can remember that the iPhone was exciting, even with all the rumors and leaks on what Apple was gonna do when we had seen the design before it was announced and stuff like that. It was still just amazing to be in that moment and to get a totally new phone. And I don't expect Apple to do that every year or even every other year, but I feel like every 3 years or every 4 years, Apple should make that moment happen again, and this would have been so cool to see this year. Imagine we got the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus, great phones in their own right. Dynamic island, 48 megapixel main camera, good design, USB-C, all of that is well and good for the same price that we've got right now. But for the 15 Pro and Pro Max, Apple went all out. These phones got a new design. They got some kind of change to the notch system on top. They got even better cameras. They got even better features and were way more pro than sort of being a little bit better than the base entry-level phones that we've got right now. I feel like this could be such a great opportunity for Apple to like win across the board. A win for them because they could showcase their latest features and tech that were competitive and really took on the Android flagships. A win for enthusiasts like us because we get to have a pro-end iPhone that is different than the rest. And then also a win for Apple because, as the rumor suggests, they're going to raise prices this year, they could charge more money, maybe beyond 11 or 12, 1,300 bucks. They added a couple $100 price adjustment to this phone, but if it had the tech and the redesign and the prowess to back it up, I feel like many people would pay that extra money to get those extra features, and everyone would win. We'd get a cool new phone, Apple would get more money, and they'd finally be a little bit more innovative in the iPhone space, which I feel like is something that many of us desperately want to see. And according to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, this is something that Apple is actively considering and working on. They could finally give us an Ultra iPhone that really comes with all of these new features and checks all these boxes, but it doesn't look like it's gonna happen this year, but the earliest it could happen is next year with the iPhone 16 line. And if the Ultra name for this iPhone is inspired by the Apple Watch Ultra line, then maybe there are some things we can learn about this new iPhone. Looking at that watch compared to the other Apple Watch series, it have a bigger display, it have a bigger battery, it have a new design, it have more customization options, maybe a programmable dedicated action button that was in addition to the mute switch we're gonna get on the 15 Pro. This would be something much more unique, much more exciting, and would probably cost a little bit more money. But again, I think many would be willing to pay this premium price if it was unique, exciting, and different. This could be a great opportunity for Apple to try new designs, new form factors. Maybe this is when we see the folding iPhone emerge. Maybe we get Touch ID back under the display, or we get some other big camera upgrade, or what many would love is like a 15 Ultra Mini. And I'm not looking to be an Apple hater here. I'm not trying to dunk on the iPhone 15 or the 15 Pro. Gonna be great phones. I'm gonna buy one. I'm just gonna say it right now. But I do come from a place of love and admiration as an Apple enthusiast and Apple fan. I want Apple to do more, and I think this would be a great opportunity. And I'm not saying that they've got to do this for everyone. You don't even have to buy one, but I think that having this in the lineup, as Apple tries so hard to please everyone with different models and different price points, if they could have something above the Pro that was more expensive but had more features, an option for us Ultra enthusiasts, I think that'd be really cool. And again, it would be a great way for Apple to showcase exactly what they could do to put their money where their mouth was and to show how great the iPhone could be. I, for one, am super excited about that and cannot wait to see what an Ultra iPhone has in store. And as always, I'm curious, what are your thoughts? What would you want to see from an iPhone Ultra? Are you excited about the 15 and the 15 Pro? Do you think Apple's doing enough? Are they doing too little? Do you wish Apple could go back to sort of the every other year major upgrade? Or do you think they're good where they are right now? Let me know your thoughts down below on what you'd like to see. I'm curious, as always, to hear your thoughts. We can discuss in the comments down below. As always, I appreciate you guys watching these videos. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I'll see you all in the next one.